Hey guys, welcome back. So I have got my May favorites here for you today, and we have got so much to talk about. I'm going to go over my overall Friday favorites. I've got a skincare favorite, a hair care favorite, a makeup favorite, and then so many books to talk about. Some really good standout books. So yeah, just got some great things to chat with you guys about today. So if you're new here, my name is Leslie. Welcome. I love to do favorites videos, new at the drugstore reviews, empties, get ready with me's. Just a lot of fun stuff here on my channel. So if you're new, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button and stuck around for a while. I'd love to have you here on my channel. So yeah, we are chatting about May favorites. So let's get to them. Okay, so for overall Friday favorites, I would say my standout eye favorite would be the LA Girl Nudes Natural Palette. If you want to see swatches of these products, check out my original Friday favorites where I mentioned them. But this is so good. Like, this is just a great, affordable, like pinky neutral palette, which is really kind of my go-to. Like, I love slightly warm, well, I say that, like pinks. I really like pinks, like either kind of slightly cool tone or slightly warm toned pinks. But something around a pink. I really like those kind of colors on my eyes. So that's a good palette right there. That's a good palette right there. It blends well, the mattes are good, the metallics are light catching and beautiful, versatile. It's just great. Okay, for blush, I would say I'm really liking the NYX Buttermelt blushes once I figured out, oh, it wasn't clicked closed. Once I figured out application technique. I like to apply these with a fluffy brush, very little product, and buff on the product and really just kind of diffuse it, because when I was stippling it on or applying too much, I was finding them to be patchy and not liking them. But buffing them on lightly and building up the product slowly and softly really creates a beautiful finish. Like, it just is light catching and flattering. It's really pretty. I would say my standout favorite shades, at least are the ones that I have, Butta Together. This is probably my very favorite. Really pretty, kind of lighter-ish pink. And then Getting Butta. So I do have on some Getting Butta right now, but just a little bit of it because this one is pretty intense on my skin tone. But I love the packaging. I think they're super cute. They're just beautiful. So I just kind of had to figure out the application technique that I liked personally. So if you've tried them and you're not sure about them, maybe kind of tweak your application and play with them and see if you like them more that way. At least that's what I found. I really did not like them at first. Then once I figured out how I like to apply them, now I really like them. Okay, and then for lip favorites, I would say this combo. Such a good lip combo. L'Oreal Saucy Mauve first. So mainly this one, kind of a mauvey pink, beautiful. And then I was kind of topping it with this shade, which I never know how to say this. New Insouciant? I don't know. I'll list it for you, but it's a really pretty kind of raspberry sort of color. So it ends up creating this beautiful raspberry rosy shade. Love it. Really like the formula on both of these. This one in particular, these, what are they called? Nude Intense. They wear so well. Don't like the scent on either of them. They're perfumey smelling, but I still just love the colors and the formula, so I put up with the scent. I mean, this is kind of the traditional, Saucy Mauve is the traditional perfumey L'Oreal scent, and then this one is also perfumey, but like a different perfumey smell. So I wish they would just like not have the perfumey smell, but they both do, but just slightly different perfumey smells. Okay, and then a makeup-y favorite. I have mentioned this many times before, but I've been using it, I mean, I always use it off and on, but I've been using it really consistently recently and in a particular sort of way. But I mean, I've used it in this way before. Anyway, it'll make sense in a second. This even made it in my yearly favorites. I love this. This is the Ofra Perfect Cover Concealer, and I wear it in light nude. This is a very full coverage, but really good, really smooth concealer. They sent this to me when they first came out, and I just love them. The key with these that I have found is you don't need a lot of product. Just get very little product and blend it in, and then it's just so good. I mean, it looks smooth on the skin, like somehow just looks really nice and smooth and just good. I mean, isn't that the goal, that your makeup looks good? It just looks good. So what I've been doing, because it's the warmer months, I want less product on, so I've been using very little foundation, as little as I can kind of get away with, just a little bit in here, a little bit in here, and then I kind of diffuse it out. But then I will take this concealer, and I have broken capillaries and texture right here, and a little bit of texture over here, and then sometimes I have like, you know, either like a scar from burning my head with a hair tool or whatever. So those are kind of my spots that I will apply this, and sometimes on my nose. And I blend it with my finger. I like applying it with my fingertips. Like it just really kind of melts the product into the skin. And my textured area on my cheek, this just works so well at smoothing that over and giving really good coverage. If I have a blemish, this is my go-to concealer for that because it just has such good coverage. It takes so little product and it has that kind of smoothing sort of look on the skin. It's just great. So if you are looking for a good full coverage concealer, but that is good with texture, and I like that idea because, you know, for a blemish, you've got texture there. And then also on like just textured area of your face that you want to like just smooth and cover, this is great. But less is more. Start with just a little bit of product. You can always build up. It's just a great concealer. So I've been using it a lot recently, just with that less foundation and then just really using this where I want more coverage. Okay, a skincare favorite. So when I have like my skin is just, I don't know, like a little bit angry with either whatever I've used, or I've used like a retinol that's really kind of like overturning my skin, you know what I mean, and bringing up some little blemishes and whatever. What is this? Skin 1004 Madagascar Centella Ampule is my go-to product that I have been using recently. This is affordable. I believe that this is just literally pure centella. It says made with pure centella from Madagascar. So I think it's just centella, which I think is supposed to be very calming to the skin. So this has been my go-to. I'll use it at night. I will use it in the morning. And sometimes, like if I notice I am getting like little bumps, especially on my forehead, that's usually where it happens, I will go with the most basic skincare that day. Like this, and then like a moisturizer, or this and my sunscreen. You know what I mean? Like it's just going back to the basics, letting my skin calm down. So if you're looking for a product to kind of help your skin just calm down, this is what I've been using and I've been really liking it. And yeah, it's a dropper sort of a serum. I would say kind of a thinner-ish sort of serum consistency. And there is a thicker version of this. I can't remember what it's called, but sometimes I'll use that at nighttime. But more for like the anti-aging. Like if I'm looking for something to calm my skin, when I have little bumps and stuff, I'm using this one, not the thicker one. But yeah, it's affordable and it works. And then a hair care favorite, I got this at Walmart. I've tried to find this online. I'll look again. I can find Heritage is the brand products, but not this particular one as easily. It's the Magic Spell Texturizing Spray. It says builds incredible volume and texture to create effortless styles. So I got this in store at Walmart, but I'll try to find it online for you too. But it was relatively affordable. The packaging is cute on it. So I have been using this mainly on my wavy hair days when I use my waver, and I'll flip my head over and spray some of this. Not a ton. It doesn't take a lot of product. Spray it in there, flip my head over, spray a little bit more, flip my head back over, kind of zhuzh everything, flip it over again, and then kind of use a comb to sort of like tame it a little bit. But I like kind of wild, big hair. I think when you have fine, flat hair, at least this is what I feel, I have fine, flat hair, so I love kind of big, crazy hair. Like, and I live in Texas too, so I just embrace the big hair. And I'm always kind of going for that. So when I use my waver, I like that this kind of gives that like texture, but not dirty. Because sometimes a lot of times texturizing sprays can make your hair like tacky and dirty feeling. This one, I think if you use too much product, it could definitely get there. But just with a little bit of product, it just gives a little bit of like a hold, a pieciness to the look. I just really like this product. And I don't remember how much it was, but I mean, it's like drugstore prices for hair care. So I think it was $10-ish, 10, 12, something around there. So anyway, It's a good little texturizing spray. I like it. Okay, I gotta get all this organized here because we got a lot of books to talk about. So let's start with, this is kind of an honorable mention. This is Betting on You by Lynn Painter. So this is a YA romance, and it has a lot of cussing in it. I will say that. Like, that is the main thing that knocked it down for me personally, is there's just a lot of cussing in it. But there's not spice in it, and I really liked the kind of character development and character arc in this story. So it's sort of like an enemies to friends to lovers sort of storyline. It kind of reminds me a little bit of When Harry Met Sally. There were parts in the story that I was like, I don't know about these characters, like things that they were doing and saying. I was like, man, I don't know if I'm like on board with each of them. I don't know if I'm like loving each of these characters, but they really, you get to know their story, you get like a look into their lives, and they really kind of help each other see things, and they grow together and they grow as individuals. So I liked that part of the story, and it's also got a lot of funny moments, cute moments, flirty moments. So I loved all those things. So if there was less cussing in this book, I would absolutely love it. There's just a lot. So that's the main thing that I didn't love about it. So this is kind of like an honorable mention, but I still read through it really quickly, and you heard the things that I liked about it. Okay, then I also read Sarah Adams' To Catch a Suitor. This is after To Con a Gentleman. This was really cute, very clean, like a friends to lovers kind of storyline, that kind of Regency era storyline. She's going through like her season. And then, you know, it's a friends to lovers sort of story. So it's cute. It was an easy read. Yeah, it says she's in love with her best friend and he is not in love with her. Maybe. And it's just good. And then it says, yeah, her friend Oliver. Anyway, it's that kind of a storyline. I really, really liked it. Okay, then I also read the first two books in, I just finished this one, in this series. I don't know what the series is called, but the first book is On These Black Sands by Vanessa Rassinen, and then the second book is From These Dark Depths. And you can even tell by, I mean, I feel like you can tell by the covers, beautiful covers, by the way. They are like a pirate sort of storyline. What would I say? I don't know if I would call, I guess, yeah, kind of like, I mean, they don't like each other at first. There's a lot of adventure. There's a ton of adventure in the second book. So, relatively clean. When I've looked it up, both of them, I think, show as YA, but then also NA, new adult. So I think the first one is more YA, like there's no spice in it. There's very little cussing in it. The second book, there is about the same amount of cussing, and there's only one spice scene at the very end. It's very mild, it's short, you could easily skip it. So I would say this one maybe leans a little bit more new adult, but because I would not call that closed door personally. But overall, I really am liking these. I would say they're around like 4 stars. I liked all the adventure in this one, but my main thing in a book is I like the main two characters to mainly just be together in the books. Like, even if they're going through like difficulties together, but that they're in close proximity, you know what I mean? And this one, it has multiple POVs. I liked all the POVs. So it's almost like 3 different storylines happening at the same time that come together towards the end. But you know what I mean? Like, the main 2 characters are not together a lot of this book. So that's the main thing I would change about this one, but I still really loved it. And there were multiple romances, which I loved all of them. So that was fun and that was exciting. And yeah, it's about pirates, and there's just, I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, you could read the synopsis. So this is the first book. It says, when everything she knows is a lie, she must trust a pirate. It's good. Yeah, so you could read the synopsis of them, and I'm excited to read the third one in the little trilogy. It's a trilogy. Oh my goodness, this book is great. This is the Timeless series from Gabrielle Meyer. So I think the first one is When the Day Comes. I can't remember the second one, the name of the second one, but this is the third one, For a Lifetime. So I'll tell you the premise of the first book because I don't want to spoil anything about this one. But it is a time travel sort of storyline. It's Christian fiction, so well written, great romance, great history. She's an amazing author. Like, I love this series. So anyway, it's a time travel story, but the main character in the first book, she lives in 2 different timelines. So it's almost like she lives in May 1st, whatever the year is, one day, and then she wakes up the next day and it's May 1st, whatever that year is. So, you know, different timelines, like 1912 and 17 whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like the 2 different storylines. So I find the time travel elements to be way less confusing because of the way that she set it up. Really great design. I love the history in it. I love the romance in it. The way that the Lord is woven into these storylines, and it's just, they're so good. Now, of the 3, I will say this is probably my least favorite, but I still really enjoyed it. I mean, it was still, I would say like a 4.5 star. I mean, it was still amazing. But if I had to choose between the 3, I think the first one's my favorite, second one's my second favorite, this one's probably my third favorite, but I still loved it. Then, my standout favorite, I mean, it's hard. I really, really liked this book, so this is definitely a standout favorite too. But then I also read the Prison Healer trilogy. Oh my goodness, I love this YA fantasy series. So the first one is The Prison Healer, the second one is The Gilded Cage, and the third one is The Blood Trader. I liked these so much that I told Timothy, I said, I like these so much that I want you to read them so that we can talk about them. So he has been reading them. He's read the first 2 and really enjoyed them also. So it's YA fantasy. I don't even know how to like begin. There's so much that happens in here. But the main character, she starts off in a prison. She is... so there's a rebel queen who is captured, and the main character, Kiva, is charged with keeping the terminally ill woman alive long enough for her to undergo the Trial by Ordeal, which is a series of elemental challenges against the torments of air, fire, water, and earth, assigned to only the most dangerous criminals. So, let's see. Anyway, read about it. What I liked about this is there are just, that's what I like to tell you about a book, is what pieces of it I really enjoyed, because you can look up the synopsis. But I loved how clean this was. I loved that there were found family elements. There was character arcs, character growth. There's great romance. There's great adventure. There's fun fantasy elements to it. It just has everything I love in a fantasy series. And I think this is a great example of just how good a book can be without extra stuff in it. You know what I mean? Like without, there's a little bit of cussing in it. I would say the third one maybe has the most kind of adult sort of themes to it and a little bit more cussing to it, but it's still very mild in compared to a lot of books. I just really loved and appreciated this whole series. I loved her writing style. I mean, it was one of those when I put the book down, I wanted to be back in it, kind of. That's when I know I really love a book. So that definitely, these definitely did that for me, where I just wanted to keep going back to this world. I was so invested in the characters' stories. I had heard that the first one is kind of slow, like almost, you gotta kind of get through this book to get to the second and the third one to really get to the good parts. But this honestly was, I mean, I love them all, but I would say this is probably my favorite book of the 3. I didn't find it slow. It's very character driven, but also there's always something happening too. So, and I didn't find the fantasy to be confusing. Maybe that was why. Maybe people like really intricate fantasy elements to a book, and this first one especially didn't have a ton of, you know, complex things to the storyline, but I appreciated that. I absolutely loved it. Could not sing its praises more. I thought it was amazing. Okay, so those are all my favorites. So hope that you really enjoyed this video. Please hit a thumbs up if you did. Let me know down below what you have been loving. Either makeup, skincare, hair care, books, home favorites, whatever, fashion favorites. I would love to hear what you've been loving. Let me know that. Ask me any questions that you have. I'm happy to answer those. Please subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!